Today is our last day of our official quarantine here in this apartment, but that really doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things because the country's still in lockdown. So we're not going to really be able to go drive around or go explore or anything like that, but what we will be able to do is we will be able to go to the store ourselves. For the last 2 weeks, we've been just eating the food that we brought up from the van since we came back. We've ordered some food for delivery from the grocery stores nearby. Not being able to pick out your own food at the store is something that you really don't understand that you'll miss until it's not there. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to be able to go to the store ourselves and go through our own trash away in the bin. And tomorrow is actually Luca's birthday as well. So he's excited about that. The girls want to make cakes, desserts. We're going to make little homemade cards. We're going to have a little party here with us. And maybe get on a Zoom meeting with some of their friends back in the United States and have a little party online. So it's going to be exciting, even though we're still under lockdown. Besides all that, today I'm going to bring you guys another video of our time in Morocco before the global pandemic. This goes back to our time in Fez. Actually, it's the drive between Chefchaouen and Fez. I'm going to show you guys the drive with a little voiceover over the top. And I'm also going to give you guys a tour of the campground we stayed at in Fez. This is our third campground, so it gives you an idea about what campgrounds are like in Morocco. Fez being the second biggest city in Morocco, this gives you an idea about what to expect when you go visit a big city with your camper. So here's the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Welcome back to another video of our time in Morocco. In this episode, we are leaving Chefchaouen and we're starting to head further south. One thing to note about the roads in Morocco is that for some reason, Google Maps does not do turn-by-turn navigation in Morocco. What a lot of the local Moroccans do is they use Waze, which is interesting because Waze is owned by Google and shares most, if not all, of the same data. But Waze works, however, Google Maps navigation does not. Waze gave us 3 different options of routes to choose from. There's one that's significantly shorter, and just by looking at the map, you can't really tell what the condition of the roads are. So we ended up going through a lot of mountains, a lot of little villages, and if you watch our video from last time, it's pretty similar to our experience driving from Asla to Chefchaouen, except this one took us much farther out of the way. On this driving day, we probably added an extra 3 hours to our drive because of the route that we chose. So hours after we left Chefchaouen in the morning, we ended up at an intersection where we can still see the city that we left hours ago in the distance. But that's okay, it's all in the day's adventure. Now we're on the right track, heading towards the second largest city in the country of Morocco. We saw a lot of these trucks and vans carrying loads on the roof as big as the vehicle itself. It was new to us, but later we'll find out that it's pretty common. As we started to enter the city of Fez, the foot traffic got denser and denser, and eventually we were near the center of Fez where it was pretty crazy to drive. We decided to stay at a campground south of town. We tried a couple of different places, but as far as campgrounds go, there are only really 2 main ones. And the first one we tried was closed, so we decided to try the other one, which had lower ratings. But because we wanted to go explore the old Medina in Fez, meaning that we would leave our van behind, we wanted to make sure it was at a safe place. So we ended up going to this campground, and in this video, I want to show you guys what this campground looks like, how much it costs, and what the amenities are. Here in Fez, Morocco, the second biggest city in Morocco, We opted to stay at this campground when we got here yesterday, just because we don't want to have to drive through the city too much. From here, we're about 3 miles away from the middle of the city, from the old Medina. Just like other European campgrounds, campgrounds in Morocco charge everything a la carte. This one, they don't charge extra for electricity and showers, but they did charge extra for the 3 kids. Per night, we're paying 170 dirhams to be here. The last campground we were at was in Chefchaouen, the Blue City, north of here, about 3 hours. And the first campground was in Asila, and that was just about an hour and a half on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean from Tangier. We paid just about 110 dirhams per night to stay at those 2 places. So this one so far is by far the most expensive. We use an app called Park for Night to find campgrounds like this all over Europe, and works really well in Morocco as well. This one had actually not too favorable of reviews. I think it was 2.5 stars out of 5. So we were hesitant at first, being that we got here sort of late in the afternoon. We wanted to find a place to settle pretty quickly, so we came over here and gave it a shot. When you cross into the border, they're going to give you a tourist number in your passport. And at every campground, they're going to ask for your passport and have you write down your information. Where you're from, your passport number, when you came in, where you're going after this, where you were just before this, several other information like phone numbers and addresses. In some places, will try to keep your passport, but by all means, do not leave your passport with anybody. If somebody asks you for your passport to look at, make sure you can see your passport the entire time. So that sort of happened here yesterday when we were checking in. When we were at the front desk trying to pay for this place. Usually what happens is you tell them how many nights you want to stay, and they usually say, well, just pay when you leave. This one, a lot of the bad reviews that we read has to do with the employees here wanting to keep people's passports. And I think it probably just became a vicious negative cycle. The campground is actually fairly decent, considering this is outside of the second biggest city, and it's a really big piece of property with lots of trees. I think it's a fairly priced place. So it's 40 dirhams per adult, and that makes 80 for 2 adults, and 30 for the vehicle, so that's 110. You only pay 110 to be here, and that's why we paid 110 for the 2 of us, our van, and then 60 more for the children. So for 11 euros to camp here outside of town of Fez, I think it's pretty reasonable. One really nice thing about this campground is that there are lots and lots of trees. This is one of the driveways that takes you all the way around the entire property. And unlike a lot of the smaller campgrounds, here you have lots of space to stretch out. So we have the whole side basically to ourselves. Alright, so here is a look at what the bathroom facilities look like. It's pretty nice inside with an open courtyard. The facilities are fairly old and pretty rudimentary, but does the job. Oh, this is a shower. Pretty basic. This is where you empty your black water from your cassette. Dishwashing area over here. The other 2 campgrounds had regular sit-down toilets, but this one, being a little older, has the older squat toilets. So here's the electricity box. Very basic, very rudimentary. 2 circuit breakers, 4 outlets, European style. We've plugged into 1, and there are 4 total. And hanging up a clothesline is pretty much the norm around here, because most of the laundry is done either by hand or just with a washer but no dryer. So there you go. That's our campground here outside of Fez, Morocco. We're going to go into town today. A few things to consider when you're camping out in Morocco is 1, do not drink the water out of the faucet. By any means, treat this place like Mexico when it comes to water. Only buy drinking water if you want to drink from the stores. Unfortunately, they only sell them in large plastic jugs. So unless you have a way to filter your own, which we have been doing, 7 days in, we're doing pretty well. We haven't bought any water yet. 1, we brought a lot of water in from Spain that we haven't used yet. And 2, what we've been doing is we've been boiling water and then filtering it through our Life Straw filter bag, and then filtering it again through our Brita. And that becomes good enough to drink. We've been drinking it for the past 7 days and no one's gotten sick. If you're gonna use the water, use it only for washing dishes, washing hands. Do not use it to brush your teeth. Do not ingest the water at all that comes out of the faucet. The prices that are set at the campgrounds, those are the prices you pay. A lot of you may have heard in Morocco, haggling, and it's commonly practiced anytime when you buy something. But that is not the case in campgrounds like this. The prices are listed and they're fair. So when you're camping here, pay those prices. But when you're shopping for anything else, yeah, you should always haggle a little bit. Eat at all the food restaurants out here, but do not eat any raw vegetables because they do wash the vegetables in the faucet water, so that could be dangerous. But eat anything that is cooked, that is totally safe. For the most part, street food is safe. Just remember the rules. Either you cook it, peel it, or forget it. So that's it. That's a quick little look at our campground here in Morocco and a few tips for you if you're planning on traveling here in a camper van. I hope this was helpful. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.